So one of the, we're going to get into some questions here, Glenn. These guys and I as well want to hear some of the things that you've done as a high school coach to build a program, to do what you've done for the last 30 plus years. And one of the things that's, I can remember being a high school coach against you, watching you do what you do, and just trying to learn from you. But one of the things that I think has been really incredible is that you have a daily routine, or it seems like your guys would do what you wanted them to do. And so how did you do that on a daily basis?
Well, I mean, first of all, Romy, you're so humble. And I mean, we had some great wars against one another, our teams. But I think the first thing that I've learned, and I've made so many mistakes, and I've always tried to learn from my mistakes. I try to be honest with myself. When I look in the mirror, I have to answer to myself. Early in my career, I used to think, why we weren't winning these championships, and I used to compare myself with the other coaches. And then I've come to realize, really, it's not about me. It's a player's game. Now, it is about me as preparing and giving the players an opportunity to put them in the best positions to win games. But, I've always said this, 34 years at Barbe, no pitching wins, no home runs, no RBIs, no great plays. What we do is put kids in positions to win, try to inspire them. And I don't know if that answers your question, but I really believe if you could get the kids to play for the love of the game and for the love of one another, I think that's so important, I really do. And I read all your questions that you asked, and, I just think you're a way more successful coach when you said, what is one thing, one of the questions you asked, I read is, what's one question, one thing you would say to other coaches that could help them but realize that it's the great Jackie Robinson said, a life is not important except for the impact it has on other lives. And I truly try to embrace that every day. I really believe that, because if, it's really not about us. And I can't say that enough, that try to instill in these players, be a great teammate, because the players aren't going to remember, like on our rings. I've got one of our rings on right now. Doesn't have anybody's stats on it. Doesn't have my coaching wins. That's all going to fade away. But the players and the coaches, everybody's going to remember how you made them feel. And they're going to remember if you were a good teammate and if you tried to elevate other people. And I think that's the key. I've learned, try to study great people, not just in sports, but the great ones elevate other people to become great, inspire them, empower them.
That's really good. That's really good, Glenn. One, you're a guy that has always stayed very positive. You have an incredibly positive outlook on life, and your level of like being in the moment. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone on the field be as in the moment as you are. As an opposing coach, that is really hard to deal with, because you just are so into it. And you've been doing it, you said, 34 plus years. What in the world, how do you keep that going, man?
You know what? God just blessed me with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, love for the game. I mean, there's certain aspects of the game, not the game, but, all the field work. And I love field work. Sometimes it rains and, my assistants we had one just leave. And then, there's different things. There's different challenges. And sometimes you go, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of doing field work, but man, I want it to look really good, So I try to stay positive because nobody wants to hear the negative. You know, I remember telling a really good player, one of my really special players, I said, Coach, you know, I just don't rest. And I said, what BS working out for you right now, you know? And I think, you know, you get a lot more, old saying, you get a lot more from sugar than you do vinegar, you know? It's people, I always believe, start with positive, put the constructive in the middle, and finish with positive. But I guess what I'm saying, to answer your question directly, I mean, I go through the same challenges everybody else does, you know. 2017, we lost in the first round for the first time in 20 years. And it was just kind of like a given. We were going to win that first round game, and we didn't. It was humbling. I mean, it was, we had to look at ourselves, and there was certain things that we guarded against it, but we kind of took things for granted. And, you know, you got to get in the trenches and grind every day because it's hard to stay on top. It's hard to get there, but to stay on top, because I mean, when we lost that first round game against Houghton in your area or your former area, those guys were dogpiling like it was the World Series, you know. And I told our players to watch that because we had a lot of players returning. And I said, this is the level that we've set here at Bar. Players that have come before you, coaches that aren't here any longer. A lot of people have set a very high standard. So when you beat Barb in any game, it's like just about every time it's just about like a dog pile, maybe not on the ground, but jumping up and down. You know, people get really excited when they beat us. And I take that as a compliment, you know. I mean, it's the ultimate compliment that it's kind of like sometimes when people don't think they're going to win a state championship, if they can beat Barb baseball in a game. Or I've had coaches say, hey, man, I beat you twice. And I laugh. I said, well, yeah, you beat Barb twice, you know, and maybe you've outcoached me more than twice, you know. But, I mean, that's how people look at it. You know, my former assistants, you know, they'll know the record head-to-head against us, and I really don't keep up with that. Jesse Cassord and I keep up with it, kind of, because he always brings it up to me, and I know kind of what it is just because he's always bringing it up. But, you know, I mean, I know if he's beating us more than we're beating them, but I used to keep up with the wins. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's no one more competitive than I am, and you want to win that championship. But I choose to believe, as a strong Christian, that God's not going to ask me on Judgment Day, hey, Glenn, how many state championships do you have, or how many wins do you have? You're the all-time winningest coach in Louisiana. That's great. You know, I think what he's really going to say, maybe he'll say, hey, you know what? If you're a slow learner, if you would have understood all these things that I was trying to teach you earlier, it's not about you. It's allowing me to work through you. You might have won more championships and more games. And I really think, I don't want it to sound cliche-ish, but, you know, when you try to do things right, and look, there's no perfect program, no perfect team, no perfect coach. I'm far from it. Our program is. But I can tell you, we have a relentless pursuit for perfection. We try to live in the moment, like you said. And I was smiling because I really take that as a compliment, is where our program has gone is one pitch, one play at a time. So what, next pitch? We really try to live that every day. And I know my ADD jumped around, and I didn't really finish that. I think God on Judgment Days, I think I maybe finished that thought, is that Raissa's laughing in the background. She knows how I am. Is that, you know, just how many guys can you, the true championship is bringing people closer to Christ. That's what I believe. I choose to believe that. And I don't try to jam it down anyone's throat, but we have player-led Bible studies before every practice and every game. The fellows, a local church, it happens to be a Baptist, non-denominational, Lutheran. We have priests come in. We never try to make it a religion. We try to make it, you know, it's all about the cross, that Jesus died. It's a free gift, except that, you know, we're never going to be good enough to receive his grace. However, the players do this. We on the bus before the state championship game, before every game, they all have a Bible and they have devotionals each day, every day, and each kid reads a line. And we pray before the game together, and after the game, win or lose, we pray in a big circle, and it's player led, and we say in Our Father, and our player says a few things. When we went to your former school, Evangel, I think there was a minister, a pastor that actually led it, Evangel. We'll let the other team lead too. Usually they want us to lead. They feel more comfortable, but on their field, we let them lead if they want. Sometimes they defer to us, or on our field, we nearly always lead. There's an exception with Evangel because of our relationship with them, but we'd let anybody lead. It's just, and I think I just prayed and just said, hey, how can we make this? They did a TV show about us, 3-peat challenge, 4-peat challenge. They were doing another, they took a break, and then they did another show, Cox Sports Nets. It was televised in, I want to say, like 41 states. So a lot of people saw it, and they saw how we were praying after the game with the other team. So it was pretty cool.
That's really
and I just felt like that was a way for us to get the message across that every day is a gift and a blessing, and we're able to play the game that we love, baseball. And if we were living in a third world country where we're not free, maybe, we wouldn't have the same opportunities. Or in fact, I know we wouldn't have the same opportunities we have in the United States of America. Even though we're not perfect here, we have problems right now as we speak, but I still feel we're the greatest country in the world, and we're free to be able to do what we want to do, to say what we want to say.
Wow.
And I think, even though now you see in Romy, even in Louisiana, there's some court cases in northern Louisiana about separation of church and state, but we try to be smart with it. We try to allow, it's all player driven. And once again, I said this before, it's a player's game. It's not about me. It's not about my agenda. It's about these players. And, a lot of them, I think the greatest thing that has been said, that my players come back and says, hey, you helped me bring me closer to Christ, or I made a Christian retreat because of your inspiration.
Wow, that's powerful, Glenn. You're one of my questions was, about your why. I think you just explained it as well as anyone could. But there's someone sitting next to you that I can remember coaching against you and being more afraid and more intimidated by that woman driving than I was of you.
Romy, never be afraid of me. Never be afraid of me. I love you, Romy.
I love you too, Raissa. But here's the truth, and I wanted to hear Raissa for a minute. The reality is you're as committed and knowledgeable and experienced in the game of baseball as anyone I know. And so I want to ask you the question.
Okay,
you guys worked together for what, 10 plus years, right?
Now we've been doing this for we did it on the field for 17 years, and now I still do it behind the scenes, and then the summer I actually run the summer programs.
Wow.
So this is 34 years.
I did not know that. That is amazing, because they saw the power of you two working together, and then they separated you. They said, no, you can't do it on the field anymore. So you just ran the program in the summer and did it behind the scenes. I love that.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
So tell me, what is the I mean, everybody wants to know what the secret sauce is. You're working together. How do you work as a couple together on the field, competing like that? How does that work?
Well, sometimes it's hard, but our main objective is to be the best. And I gave up my career of being a basketball coach back in the day to help us become a national powerhouse. So when I did that, there was not us competing against each other. It wasn't about competing. It was about coming together to make the program as good as it can be. And when we did that, that's when things started getting better. And as far as our program wise, and we butt heads when we have opinions about baseball. We still do. We still butt heads about it. And Glenn's over there saying not a lot, but sometimes we do, about players or about situations or about what we should be doing, but that's just part of it. That's part of being a coach.
That's right.
When we're on the field, we're not actually husband and wife. We're coaches and we're partners. And, when we're off the field, we're husband and wife. So
that's really powerful. What is, let me ask you this, Raissa. What one word would you use or have you used to describe Glenn?
The energized bunny. That's 2 words. That's what he said is 2 words. He is self-motivated. I mean, he can go. It's just amazing that he goes like he does. The boys always said, Dad, you can't retire from baseball. You can retire from teaching, but you can't retire from baseball because we don't know what's going to happen to you. You got to keep on going because this is what drives you. This is his passion. This is his love. And he makes a difference in people's lives. And that's why he needs to keep doing what he's doing.
Amen.
When he doesn't make a difference in people's lives, that's when he needs to stop coaching. But right now, and I say that, a lot of people, like we had some kids that got interviewed not too long ago. The future
I'm kind of losing you there.
And came out and they gave their testimony and the difference in my life, not only on the students to go out and do that. So amazing.
And let me add one thing about Raissa, and I'm gonna give it back to Raissa because I have a bad habit of monopolizing things. But I've always said this: I don't think there's ever been a woman that has done more for her husband's career than my wife.
That's awesome.
Raissa.
Oh, that's a great thing to say. So what's the one, how would you describe Raissa as a coach? You guys are in a bad spot. Hang on.
Championships, just as hard as.
Keep going.
No, I said, I don't know where I left off where you no longer could hear me. But she she would 3 days in a row, and this is no exaggeration. We had 2 small kids, and the season was about to start. We hand painted the signs now. Now we get them done professionally, when they put them we put them on the wall. But back then, I think you guys did the same thing. You project them on the wall, and they had to be painted. And Raissa would do this. So she'd coach, she'd mow the grass, and late at night, she'd paint the signs. And we wanted to get all the signs up before the season started. And she stayed up 3 nights in a row, didn't sleep for 3 nights. I couldn't do that. I mean, I've got energy, but I have to sleep. I can get by with 5 hours, but I don't know. She did it like she requires more sleep than me, but she can go 2 days without sleep or 3 days. I can't do that. I mean, I wouldn't even want to attempt to do that,
So you guys have both experienced championships on the highest level in Louisiana, high school baseball, but you've also experienced watching your sons compete from, little guys now all the way to the big leagues. And along the way, Glenn, you were a part of, and I know Raissa, you were too, with the USA baseball program and helping, coach that team, but also watching your kids compete at that level. So, you've had so many different experiences. Are you able to rank those, and how does that work?
Yeah, you're kind of cutting out now. USA baseball. Yeah, I was.
Well, if you can hear me, I was asking about how those experiences with USA Baseball, watching your kids go through it, you coaching it, how does that rank in terms of experiences that you guys have experienced? I think they're in the middle of the bayou, guys.
Cut out, but you're asking me about USA.
Yeah.
Honey? Okay, so I'm gonna talk. If you can't hear me, just let me know. You can represent of. You get to coach some of the best players.
Yeah, you're in a bad spot, Glenn.
The United States of America, first part of the whole process. Yeah, you can't hear me. Yeah, that's why I could only hear a couple words.
It's better now.
Okay, I can hear you now. No, I said represent the United States of America. I mean, it was so humbling. It was what a great honor to represent the United States of America, your country. I never served in the armed forces, but to be part of your country and coach the best players in the world or some of the best players in the world and represent your country at the same time with the game you love, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was great. And, you know, I got the opportunity to do it 4 years. First 2 years, I was just part of the process. I wasn't on the national staff team, but I was there the whole time until they went to other countries. But the last 2 years, I got to be the manager. So that was cool. And we won a gold medal in Osaka, Japan. And there was 40,000 people there. It was unbelievable. And then it rained, and about half the people left, never came back. But it was incredible. And then we played in Monterrey, Mexico, and we played Cuba. And we beat Cuba like 6-1 for the gold medal. And it was great because we played Cuba in a playoff game, a play-in game earlier, and we're losing earlier in the tournament. We're losing 5-1 in the 7th inning. And if we would have lost that game, we would have never got to play for the gold medal. But came back and won by a run. So, and then the boys both won gold. So Guerin won a gold medal in Barquisimeto, Venezuela, and Galvin won one in Cartagena. I mean, Guerin played with Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. They were all on the same team. There's so many great players. Wow. And then Gavin's team has so many big leaguers. Raissa helped me. Joey Gallo, Bregman. There was just a lot of great players on both teams. So it was really cool to get to go see it, and both did really well. And it was a great experience. Some of the best baseball experiences that ever.
Let me ask you this. We that's great information, but we want to get some of your skills and techniques that you picked up along the way. Like what are a couple of things you would say are like must do kind of things? Is there anything in particular that stands out?
Yeah, you mean like practice organization, something you got to do in practice every day? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in the basics, throwing, catching. So it all starts in, get some really good dynamic stretching. Great off-season strength program. We use Eric Cressy. He was the strength coach. So I have a lot of dynamic, incorporate your core, explosiveness. I mean, that's a lot of stretching. I mean, dynamic stretching. And then really big on throwing and catching every day, playing with a purpose, catching and throwing with a purpose. So, really, I mean, we actually make our coaches, I get out there every day and work with guys, small arm circles. I mean, I could break it down, but basically, the infielders are all doing, I make them throw from different arm angles, like all different arm angles when they're warming up, and then getting it out of their glove real quick. So there's a few different drills. Outfielders grabbing the ball like it's working on your footwork, replacing your feet, like crow hopping. We don't really crow hop anymore. We do something a little different to replace your feet quicker. Catchers always play catch together. They're working on foot work and transferring it out of their glove. So I believe when you're warming up to get warmed up to play, you've got to do drills, infielders with infielders, outfielders with outfielders, catchers with catchers, pitchers with the pitchers. And then from there, something I believe in every day, we do PFP. We do 3 lines of it. So we do everything that can happen in PFP. Pass balls, banana routes, everything that can happen, squeeze, first, third base communication with the pitcher, first pitcher and catcher communication, picking guys off at second base. So we have 3 lines and they rotate. I'm just going to go over it real briefly, but that's something in you do each one once and then you move to the next drill. But if you mess up, we start over again. I mean, I'm really big with, reps have got to be, it's not quantity, it's quality. And then another thing we do every day that's a staple, I love it, is coach pitch inner squad. So I have a couple lefties on my staff. We play this for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And it's baseball, but it's with the coach pitching. So what I like about it is you could just play a game, you split the teams up, and, you have 9 guys on one team, 9 on another. You have the catcher, the only guy, you even have the pitcher. We have a little L screen in front, and then the pitcher's behind me, and he fields everything that he can get to. But you have cutoffs and relays live with runners. You get conditioning, and the best condition is running the bases, running on and off the field, running after fly balls. It's baseball conditioning, what you do in a game. So, and then if you want to make it, like sometimes you can make it specialized coach pitch, which means, okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to go man on third, less than 2 outs, and we're going to play 3 innings of it. Or you could play, 3 innings. So you could go 9 outs at a time, or you could go 3 outs at a time before you rotate. If you rotate every 3 outs, of course, you're going to get a lot more conditioning in. But I love that. You could go first and second, nobody out. That's what both teams, that's all we're going to do. So you start with runners on first and second at both teams, and you see, okay, we got to move the runner over. Okay, or you can have man on second, nobody out. Got to hit a fly ball to right field, get behind the runner. So it's really situational. Or we could do coach pitch, inter squad bunt game, which means all we're doing is bunting. You drag or push for a hit. Once the guy gets on, you push him over, drag him over, or sack him over. And all you can do, and you play until someone wins, all you can do is, and you don't have a screen out for this, all you can do is bunt. So, I love that, man. And look, the pitcher like me, if I'm throwing curveballs, sliders, changeups, 2 seams, and I'm throwing from about 50 feet, actually about 48, and I'm throwing really hard. I mean, I'm throwing firm. I couldn't give you the velo, but it's pretty firm. I mean, it probably simulates, I would say, 85 to 90 for sure.
Wow.
And then we get different, I love doing it, but it's not good for me as a coach to do it every day because as you well know, everybody knows you face different pitchers, lefties, hard throwing righties. And then sometimes I love doing, kids love it. I go, okay, man, new pitcher in, because I can throw from down underneath pretty well. So I throw from underneath. I go, the closer's in. So, just different arm angles. I throw from different arm angles to them, sometimes straight over the top, low 3/4, high 3/4. But that's something we do every day, usually for a half hour. And the reason I like it, let me reiterate it. You get live double plays. You work on sliding. You work on cutoffs and relays. You work on game speed, ground balls. You work on base running. You work on going from first to third. You work second to home. I mean, it's live baseball, man. It's live.
That's really good.
And we're not stopping it. I used to stop it. We're not stopping it. We're going. We're writing. There's a coach writing the things down. We go over it after.
So the pace of this
I
is
may
very
yell.
quick.
I may yell now. Hey, hit your cutoff. Hit your cutoff, man, every time. I'll say something like that when the ball's coming in. You know, I'll say, stay, you know, see the ball into your glove, see your fingers take it out. New York Yankees say that all the time. We have coaches timing. Raissa's helping me here. We have a coach at first base timing the guy out of the box. You know, if he's 4-2, he's got to run a 4-2 every time. Or we'll let him go a 4-3. Now, if he rounds, as you know, when you round the base, you're going to be 0.2 of a second slower. So if you're 4-4 rounding, you could be 4-5, you know. But if you're 4-8, if you're not within a 1 to 0.2 of a second when you should be, they just keep running the foul pole and back. No yelling, no screaming. And that's one thing I've really changed. I mean, it doesn't do any good. Like, if someone makes an error, so what? Hey, ball's coming back at you. Don't worry about it. Let's go. It's over. And we make our guys, like, symbolically, they got to shake their glove. So this is, the coaches know, like, if the guy doesn't do that, he's not in the moment. You talked about being in the moment. How do I know if a player's in the moment? Well, he's got to shake his glove, which he's physically, it's a symbolic way of just letting go of the air. If he makes a throwing error, he kind of shakes his arm. He's letting go of the air of his arm. He's letting all the bad things out. Then take a deep breath. We're real big into four breaths in. 4 seconds in, hold 4, blow out 4. At the same time, we're shaking the glove, shaking the arm, and we're visualizing. And then right after that, positive self-talk. I'm going to make the play. Seeing the ball, whatever our words are. It's not my words, it's their words. If it's a pitcher gives up a home run, he's going to wipe the rubber clean. He's going to kind of shake his arm, take a deep breath. He's going to visualize positive, and he's going to say, you know, he's going to visualize whatever pitch he's going to execute that he wants to throw. He's visualizing it, and he's saying it, I'm going to execute strike 1, pound the zone, attack the hitter, whatever his words are. That's what he's going to say. So we're real big. Like, our players can never, ever say, hey, don't walk this guy. It's got to be, say what you want to happen, attack the hitter, pound the zone. You could say throw strikes. That's what we want to do. Throw low strikes. Say specifically what you want to do, but we're never going to say don't strike out, because we take away don't, you got strike out, if we're hitting. You say what you want, what you want to see happen. We're real big. With your thoughts become your words become your actions become your character, and ultimately your character becomes your destiny. So we're real big with that. Words are powerful, so powerful. I always believe you got that daughter, and you got a beautiful daughter in Camille, but I guarantee you what you would never do, but as beautiful she is, if every morning, when she woke up, you said, oh, Camille, you're overweight. Camille, you need your face, go brush your hair. You're not very pretty. You don't tell her how beautiful she is every day. Whether she is or not, she's going to start believing it if the person she loves the most, her mom and dad, tell her she's beautiful. I'm just using an analogy. A coach told me a long time ago, excuse my language, but this is verbatim what he said. If you have chicken shit, you can make chicken salad out of chicken shit, but you got to convince the chicken shit that he's not chicken shit, he's really chicken salad. And what he meant by that, very good, but that's what you got. You got to convince that guy. You got to brainwash that guy or girl or human being any way you can to believe that they're better than they really are. And I think probably that's our greatest strength at Barbe, is that, we're not college. We don't get a recruit, even though sometimes kids come to our school to play, not as much as you think. But we got to convince whoever's playing, because it's so much mental, as you well know, and most coaches know, but a lot of people know about it, but how much time do you spend on it? That's my question as coaches. So that was one of the questions. You said, hey, what's one thing you wish all coaches could realize? Well, if everybody realizes that the mental part of the game is so important, what do you do about it? You know, and if you're going to get on your players, how much have you worked on it in practice? You know, so, you know, we just built another indoor facility. So we're going to have, you know, we're going to have, let's see, we have 10 cages indoors. It rains a lot in Louisiana, as you know. Do we need 10 cages? Probably not. You know, we needed an indoor facility, but I mean, it's, you know, we had needed a mental training room. So we took our locker room and now it's a mental training room and a Bible. It's really a multi-purpose room. It's Bible study, auction, raising money. You know, it's a multi-purpose room, but it's a study room. We got like 40 leather chairs and it's step-ups. It's a theater style. It's really nice with 3 smart TVs that I don't work that well, but my assistants can. And it's a little joke there that you think would be funny. So it's, I mean, the bottom line is with practice, man, I'm real big. I'm terrible with technology, but I video the pitchers and hitters all the time on my phone in slow-mo. We're just getting Rapsodo. We just ordered it. You know, I just believe in anything that it's not the cure-all, but it's anything. They're all tools. Everything is tools. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I like the film guys because sometimes, you know, they think, you know, it's all about feel. I agree it's about feel, but sometimes they think they're doing something, but they're not doing what they're really doing. You know, they think they feel one thing, but then they see themselves, no way, this is my swing. Feels right. But, you know, there's a lot of things in life that feel right, but that doesn't make it right. So just because you feel right swinging the bat, I mean, I don't want to get too complicated here, but you want to feel good. That's very important. But sometimes you need tools to be able to see what you're doing. And I've had many kids say, hey, I'm in the ready position. I'm in the ready position. Really? Think you really are? And we filmed the guy. One of them was a first-round draft pick, and his foot was in the air. One foot was down, and one foot was actually a foot in the air, and the pitch was in the hitting zone. And he would have sworn his life that he was in the ready position. But that's where I'm talking about specifically. That's why he felt good. He was good. He is good, but he wasn't in the optimal position. So that's why I think technology. Then when we filmed him and he saw it, he goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this!" And then we filmed him again and kept doing it, and then he was in the ready position, which now increases his range, as you know, because if one foot is in the air, you can't move. It restricts your range. So that's just one example of using technology, how I think it's really so beneficial.
Well, you haven't been. I mean, you've been doing this 34 years now, Glenn. And one thing that I'm curious is, through the years, have you changed or morphed in the way you teach, or have you remained the same? Have you kept that same style of coaching, or how has it changed?
Yes and no. What did you say, Raissa? Yeah, I think you have to adapt and adjust. Let me give you a lot of examples. One thing is everybody had to have the same cleats. Well, you know, I thought that's good team unity, and we all want to wear the same color, and we do. I let the players vote on it. I've done that for a long time. But they used to, like, I can't wear Adidas shoes very well. I like how they look. They give me blisters. So, you know what? I mean, so if the kids vote on, you know, there's no 100% on anything in life. Nobody's in 100% agreement. So if we agree on navy Adidas cleats, and one of my players is like me, more than one, they go, "Coach, I can't wear Adidas. It gives me blisters." I can suck it up. I mean, that's what I put it on. A different brand, the same color, you know. I just think like the hair. You know, I had my hair super long last year. You know, kids wanted me to wear it. I mean, so I did. I mean, you know, I've got a lot of hair, but I mean, I don't know. I had people say, "What are you going through, a midlife crisis?" And you know what? I laugh because I can laugh at myself, but the kids loved it. You know, none of the other coaches did it. I was the only guy that did it, you know, but they like that. You know, so I mean, it's, to me, I didn't make the other coaches do it, but they all let their hair go long. I would have never let the kids' hair go long back in the day. I let them have facial hair. So to me, you got to pick your battles. I mean, to me, I want them to play hard for themselves, but I want them to play hard for Barbe baseball and hard for their family and their loved ones and their coaches. So, you know, when we're all unified, when we're all together, we're gonna be, you know, united we're strong, divided we're weak. We fall. So I think the more you can unite people, it's just like in life, all the things going on right now, there's way too much hate and not enough love. So to me, when I wore my hair long, that was my way of showing love to those guys. They knew that that's not my style, but they knew that I did it. I'm one of the guys, even though I'm their coach or separation. I'm not going out and party with the guys. They go, hey, let's go get a beer together. First of all, they shouldn't be doing that. But what I'm saying is there's going to be separation of coach and player. But something like that, it's harmless, in my opinion. So I let them wear long hair. But here's what's not compromising. Here's where I haven't changed. If you don't run out of ball, I'll pull you out of the game. Now, usually I don't yell and scream like I used to. I just pull them out. You know, I had a guy in Team USA, real high profile guy. I don't want to say where he was drafted because it could give it away, but I'm talking about he was one of the top players to pick, and he jogged out a ball, and I said, hey, you do that again. And obviously he was a guy that was allowed to do, you know, he had a sense, I mean, coaches gave him a sense of entitlement because he was so good and gifted that he didn't have to respect the game like other people did, that he could set have rules for himself. And I don't believe in that. I think we're disabling players instead of enabling them. So whenever you allow a kid not to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and we know the way it's supposed to be played, you run out all balls. Because how about if the guy 1 out of 100, maybe he's going to drop, and then instead of being on first, you could have been on second or third. So I pulled the guy out of the game and said, hey, man, I told you. And he did some other things. He separated himself, and he no longer played for me. And I didn't yell at him. I didn't scream at him. There wasn't a confrontation. But, you know, but I made a believer out of it. And I know the other players respected that. The other players of the team didn't like it. They didn't want the guy to be playing because of that. So I think you got to have a pulse. So, you know, I think the way I've changed is humiliation is a bad leadership tool. It's horrible. And I coach, I'm still loud, you know, but when I'm correcting people, I try to do it one-on-one, bring them in, or say it where no one else can hear. I really try. And even if now there's sometimes I'll say if someone embarrasses the program or is disrespectful, which doesn't happen often, to have a teachable moment, I'll say in front of other people so they can see, hey, man, if you act like this, you're going to come out of the game, and I'm not going to let you get away with that. And something's going to be said back. I had a kid this last year that basically wanted to ask why he was being pinch hit for in the middle of the game. I don't know if that's ever happened to me before, ever. Maybe the next day they've asked, but in the middle of the game, the guy was 0 for his last 10 and struck out 8 times in a row, including 8 out of 10 times. 8 out of his last 10 at-bats he struck out. And in this game, he struck out twice already. So there was a man on third with less than 2 outs. We were down by a run, and we needed someone to put the ball in play, so I pulled him out of the game. I not only pitch hit for him, but I pulled him out of the game. And he made a comment and asked, hey, why are you pitch hitting for me? And I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me? I said, we're trying to win this game. and I'm going to do whatever it takes for us to win this game. I said, why don't you ask all your teammates right here? Since you don't know the answer to that question, why don't you ask them why you're being pulled out? And a few of them said, hey, man, you've struck out a bunch of times, and you struck out this time. We got a man on third. We're trying to get a run in, and you're not putting the ball in play. I said, well, there's your answer. And I said, and congratulations. I said, you're the first guy in 34 years that's ever questioned why he's being pinch hit for. But I said, also, congratulations, you're the most selfish player I've ever coached. Because he went down when I pulled him out. He said, why are you pulling me out? Kind of threw his helmet a little bit, kind of like banged it, and went to the end of the bench and sat down. So I had to show the team that, and this guy's a real high-profile guy. He ended up transferring. He ended up losing him. But the bottom line was he had to know that, man, you're not bigger than the game of baseball. And I always tell the kids, you know, if I die tomorrow, have a heart attack, you know, God forbid, in the middle of the game, they're probably going to stop the game. And you know what? They may not resume it tomorrow because, or, you know, the day of my funeral, they will probably change the game. But the game will still be played, and it should be. And the season will go on. They're not going to stop the season because I died of a heart attack in the middle of the game. And my point is, Derek Jeter retired, and the game's going along just fine. And so did Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson in basketball. And LeBron James will retire one day, and the game's still going to go on. The point is, nobody's bigger than the game. And I think sometimes one of your questions is, kids change. Kids really have, only because the people around them have changed. Society has changed. I think kids are still kids. They want structure. They want love. They want to work hard. You know, the good kids do. But I think what's happened is that the world has changed. You know, a lot of times, you know, you look and you go, is this really going on? It's what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. That's still the way the world should operate. It doesn't always operate like that. But I think what's happened is, you know, they see things. You know, I'm not trying to make a political statement. I just think parents sometimes party with their own kids and drink with their kids, and you know, I mean, you know, smoke dope with their kids. I mean, I'm not saying that's mainstream, but it happens more than you would think. Throwing big parties for them, and I just think that, you know, I mean, I'm my son's best friends now, but I'm still their dad. And if they say something, they're grown up. If they say something that's really crazy, I'm going, man, you're too good to act like that, man.
Wow.
You're way too, you know, I just think, I think you could say things in a nice, respectful way and just say, man, you're better than that, man. You're a role model, you know? So
That's good, Glenn.
I mean, I just think that, yeah, just people, I think the world has changed. You know, the internet, you know, I mean, everybody's got a platform now. Everybody's got their little show, and people, unlike you, that's actually played the game and was really good at it, and in college and professionally, and played at the second highest level in the world, AAA, would have made it to the big leagues if you didn't get injured. I mean, but a lot of people that have a platform, I mean, they never even, like parents, I mean, a lot of us have forgotten more baseball, I say this humbly, than they know. And they can't, some of them can't play, even people running baseball now can't play an adult game of catch. So, you know, just because they're real smart doesn't make them a good baseball guy. So I just think there was another question you asked me. And I think this is a great line for parents. And I kind of came up with this. I'm not real innovative, but I came up with this and you could hear a pin drop. I said, you know what, parents, any concerns you have with your parents, I mean, your players, your sons, I said, I'm there for them. You know, we're trying to use baseball as our platform to make men out of these young boys, young men. We want them to be, you know, successful husbands, fathers, business people, and that's our goal, to teach them life lessons that we're building men through baseball is what we're doing. So this is specifically what I told the parents. I said, I'm an over-the-top guy. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't say. I'm real, I say what I want to say. But I said, here's the one thing I can tell you. I have never, ever gone to your employment and told you who to promote, who to demote, who to fire, who to give raises to, or how to do your job. And I said, I respect the same courtesy that I've given you. Not one time have I ever gone to anybody's employment and told them how to do their job. And I said, my suggestion is, this is one of the few jobs that we're relying on 14 to 18-year-olds. Once in a while, a 19-year-old. They're teenagers with a lot of things going on, a lot of pressures, a lot of uncertainties. And, it's not an easy job. I love it. But I said, until you've walked in these shoes and really run a big-time program, it's easy to have all the answers.
That's right. Well, Glenn,
before you do it. So I think I feel very strongly about that, and that's once in a while I have a parent come in and but I just tell them I have a standard answer: the best 9 play. We don't always get it right in the beginning, but we end up getting it right, and it's no perfect program, no perfect coach, no perfect team, but we do our very best to take. We don't care if you're black, white. We don't care if you're. We want you to be Christian, but we'll start 9 Muslims if they're the 9 best players. We don't care if you're rich or poor. I'm not for sale. The program's not for sale. So, I think they can relate to that.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Glenn, we're wrapping up right now, but you know what? These guys, this has been amazing, and you just driving in your car, just sharing from your heart. It just shows, just like we talked about at the beginning. You're in the moment. You could go another 4 hours. I know you could. I've been with you, and I've seen you do it. But we got to wrap it up, and I want you, before you go, and I know you're going to be watching Gavin play baseball, and tell him we said hello. We love him. But coach these guys up a little bit. Coach all of us up, because we've got a lot of challenges right now with everything that's going on in the society and with COVID and all that. What would you say to us to encourage us before we end the show?
This too shall pass. I really believe that. And, they had the Spanish flu back in 1918. I want to say this. I may be a little off with the numbers. I don't think I am. Close to 50 million people died. And, it was back then, it was the end of the world. I remember my grandmother wanting to talk to me about it. I wish I would have listened. I was a little kid then. I wasn't really that interested in that kind of stuff then. But I wish I could go back and I would have listened to her. But I remember her telling how terrible it was. 50 million people worldwide, Spanish flu. I think, I think we're gonna overcome this. I really believe it. God's in charge. That's the whole thing. He really is. So.
Well, we're so grateful for you taking the time, and you are technology able. I want you to know something. For you to make this happen, I'm proud of you.
Well, I got to give the credit to my wife and sister-in-law. Trust me, I was getting frustrated, and I told myself, and I even said it when you got on, I said, right now the technology is winning. It was beating me, but we got on, and that was good, and I just got to get better with it. But it's
you good. Well, we are so grateful for you guys. Thank you again, Raissa. Thank you so much. We think the world of you, and we're excited to hear great reports about Gavin and continued great success. Thank you again for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Romy. We love you. Tell Christine hi and give her a big hug and a kiss for me.
Yes,
Will
sir.
do. Take care
All right,
now.
buddy. Love
Thank
you.
you guys for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Romy. Bye. Glad it finally happened.